Welcome to Knox City Murder. This is episode 3, Truth Be Told or Not, part 2. Previously, on Knox City Murder, Truth Be Told or Not, part 1.
During some of her rants, she would say that me and Charles were the only people in her life that she trusted. She probably shouldn't have trusted Charles, though.
What do you mean?
Charles is a sad excuse of a human being. I'm pretty sure that he abused her, at least mentally. Wouldn't be surprised if that's why she got more erratic these last couple of months.
This is Justin. Oliver Barron has reportedly been detained in police custody and suspect of Leda Stevenson's murder. Nothing else has been reported, but if it comes out true that Oliver murdered Leda, where will this take Storm Intel?
Now who reported this? Because we made sure that this got out to no one.
It's gotta be someone in this room. There's no other way that someone could have told the news source.
I think there's something else that you know that could help us.
Which is?
Out of her 3 bodyguards, you're the only one left. And one of them that was fired was a close friend of Leda's. Do you know anything about why they were fired?
Oh, right. Well, Raymond was fired due to Leda having this I don't know feeling. She never really explained it the best to me. She believed that Raymond knew something that would ultimately kill her, and she wanted him out from working under her.
What about Laurel Stallard? We've heard she was somewhat recently fired.
Leda really never liked Laurel in the first place. Only hired her due to Charles being so adamant about hiring Laurel specifically.
And I know, it's crazy. I got these emails only a few days ago, and they're acting like they're in this giant time crunch, and we're at fault for it.
What exactly did they ask you?
They're needing such finite details about minuscule ideas that are part of some big picture.
Is that bad? I mean, they probably need that information for certain aspects of their product.
Yes, that's true, but their sense of urgency of things that honestly could wait a few weeks or even months is kind of irritating. I'm not gonna lie.
I could definitely see that.
Did you see Leda yesterday?
Yeah, she was hysterical. Can't believe she would act like that. She's the CEO, for crying out loud.
Shh, she's here.
Just ignore them, Leda. I promise you, everything will be fine.
What? Did you hear them? Why should I ignore them, huh?
I did. Did you not?
What did they say, Victor? Why did they quiet their conversation because we came by?
I think it's best we just head back to the office.
No. Victor, what did they say?
It was their conversation. We shouldn't intrude.
Whatever you say. I don't care anymore.
As we were talking about...
and tired of working here. God, it's raining. Here she comes. Of course she does. I'm almost done. I can almost leave this place.
Take me with you. I'd rather work anywhere else than
Leda?
working under Leda.
Leda, what's wrong? Leda, speak to me.
Stop! Please! Oh God, why are you guys like this? I'm sorry!
Leda, what's wrong?
What do you mean, what's wrong? Don't you hear them whispering?
Leda, what are you talking about?
The people! You heard them! They hate it here! They hate me!
Let's discuss this in your office. Leda, people are watching.
Who cares if they're watching me? They know what they've done. Hey, let go. Let them hear.
Leda! Let's save face and talk in your office. We don't want to cause a scene. Okay now. Leda, what the hell was that about?
I can't believe you are acting like you are none the wiser to their tricks.
Whose tricks?
The workers! You heard them. Every desk we walked past, you could hear their dirty remarks until they quieted their voices.
What do you mean the workers? Leda, only 2 of them were ever talking. That's why I told you to ignore them.
It wasn't just the first 2 workers. There were others. So many others. Victor, open your ears and listen.
Leda, they are. It's my job, for crying out loud. No one else was talking while we were out there.
You're lying. I heard them.
Let's watch the tapes. I don't want you this upset.
Yes, and then I can show you that they were...
Just watch it back. Did you not?
What did they say, Victor? Why did they quiet their conversation because we came by?
I think it's best we just head back to the office.
No. Victor, what did they say?
It was their conversation. We shouldn't intrude.
Whatever you say. I don't care anymore.
Leda, what's wrong? Leda, speak to me.
Stop! Please! Oh God, why are you guys like this? I'm sorry. What? How? So you mean that... just me?
Yes, Leda. That's why I tried pulling you away.
I can't believe... No, I don't believe it. One of them had to have tampered with the tape.
Excuse me? How could anyone have had the time to alter the video in the span of, 4 minutes?
I don't know. They just did.
Laurel Stallard is here. She's waiting for us in interrogation room 3.
Really? Let's go then. Are you Laurel Stallard?
Huh? Oh, yeah, of course I am.
I'm Officer West, and this is my partner, Officer Abernathy. Do you mind if we ask a couple of questions?
I wouldn't have come all this way if I did mind.
Right. I guess I'll start asking questions then. Where were you last night around the time of Leda's death?
Last night, I was up all night looking for a new job.
Okay, how did you know Leda Stevenson?
She was my boss. She hired me to be her bodyguard.
How long did you work for Leda?
Probably about 8 to 9 months. Before Leda fired me.
You were fired? Do you know the reason?
Of course I don't know the reason. She just fired me.
Are you sure that there's no reason that you could have been fired? Because we heard you might have had some relations with someone, if you catch my drift.
Relations with someone? Of course I have relations with people. You're gonna have to be a tad bit more specific.
We had heard you might have been having some intimate relations with Leda's husband, Charles.
This is outrageous. How dare you accuse me of such a thing?
We're just doing our job, Miss Stallard. Did you or did you not have intimate relations with Mr. Stevenson?
Of course not. I would never do something like that. I had a purely professional relationship with the Stevensons.
So why do you think you were fired then? You must have some idea.
As I said before, I don't know.
Did you maybe do something to betray her trust?
Leda Stevenson was a paranoid person in power. She didn't trust anyone. The only one who somehow gained her trust was that weasel, Victor Fox.
Why do you call him a weasel?
He came out of nowhere and stole my job.
Can a CEO not have multiple bodyguards?
Victor was hired a month after I was, and a couple months later, I left without a job. He's a job-stealing weasel.
Okay, what can you tell us about Leda before she fired you?
She was just as paranoid as she always was. She kept rambling about how she thought she was going to fall out of her window at work and die, or that everyone around her was going to try and betray her.
That sounds like what most of the others who we've interviewed today have said.
Yeah, that's all the questions we have for today. Don't leave the city, because we may have more questions for you later, but you are free to go for now.
Good day, officers.
Guys, are you free right now?
As of right now, we are waiting for Charles to get in. Did you find something?
Yeah, we found another note, similar style and handwriting. My best guess is that they are from the same person.
Note? You guys are finding notes?
Oh, Violet mentioned this to me. They found a note in Leda's office. It was strange and they believed it to be Leda herself writing it. As of now, it's in the lab getting tested.
Let me grab it so we can read it. Once again, she seems extremely paranoid.
I mean, it fits the personality of Leda. I'd be surprised if it's not her.
She's almost here, Kane. Called her to tell her to get here to the note herself.
Someone want to get Violet in here so she can hear it too?
I'm wondering.
Sorry I'm late. Have you read the note yet?
No. We were waiting for you.
Why is everyone muffling their conversations when I come by? I promise I haven't done anything that could cause this reaction. It's almost like everyone who works here is ready for my demise. I should just fire everyone, get rid of anyone who could possibly have dirt on me. Though there isn't any. I've done nothing wrong. I've made a new form of energy that will greatly improve the lives of everyone around me. And in return, I get an early death.
Really lives up to the style of the last letter we found. They have to be by the same person.
We can't be completely sure unless we get it tested. We need to send it back to the lab to get tested.
I'll trust it to you to get it to the lab.
Officer Abernathy, Charles Stevenson is here. He's waiting in interrogation room 4.
Great. West, let's go.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stevenson. I'm Officer West, and this is Officer Abernathy.
Good afternoon, officers.
Where were you last night? Specifically, late last night or early this morning?
I was home, waiting for my wife to get back from work. I started getting worried about her when she never returned, but I didn't have the chance to report before I saw the news broadcast. Quite a lousy way to find out your wife is dead.
What do you mean, quite a lousy way to find out your wife is dead? You were never contacted about her death before Rainy News released the broadcast?
No, and quite frankly, I don't know why. I feel the family of the victim should know that their family member is dead before the world is made aware of it.
That shouldn't have happened. I'll talk to the chief and see where the miscommunication was.
Thank you. I just want to see justice to my wife. I feel heartbroken that she left so soon.
We should probably get on with the interview. Do you have anyone who can back you being at home?
I'm sure a maid saw me home. She comes over once a week to clean, and I believe she was there last night.
I'll look into your alibi.
Would you say there was anything strange with Leda's behavior before she died?
She's always been a little out of it. More in the past few years, I've noticed. Once she got diagnosed with PPD, it all made sense.
How long had Leda experienced these symptoms before getting her diagnosis?
I would say at least 2 or 3 years. She was hard to convince that she needed to get checked out.
How was your relationship with Leda? Did you guys have any marital problems?
Our relationship was going well. We had our quarrels like every married couple, but it was never anything serious.
Interesting. We've heard from other people that your relationship was subpar, to put it in nicely.
What are you talking about? Our relationship was perfectly fine. Every small action was blown out of proportion due to Leda's paranoia. For crying out loud, she fired her best friend.
Well, we've had 2 separate people tell us that you weren't the best husband towards her.
Oh, and who were they? They don't know anything.
It is in the best interest of the police to not disclose that information to you.
I think it's only fair that I know who is trying to dirty my name.
I'm sorry, Charles, but we cannot disclose this information to you.
This is bogus. I demand—
Charles, calm down. We still have some questions for you.
We got this. It's important for right now.
Thank you. Charles, it says here Leda had started filing for divorce. Care to explain? Or did she not tell you about this?
Excuse me? She was filing for divorce? This had to be recent. I had no knowledge of her doing this.
I'm sorry to inform you like this, but the court documents show us this. There's no way to fake it.
I can't believe she would divorce me. I loved her.
Charles, what happened between the 2 of you within the last few weeks before she died?
I thought everything was going fine. Nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary.
But obviously something had to be going on if she was filing for divorce.
She must have been just losing her mind. We had constant arguments about it. She always refused to listen to me when I requested she seek out therapy. It didn't work besides getting that diagnosis for her, PPD. She never got better. Neither did her constant outbursts.
So if her constant outbursts were happening, how can you say things were not out of the ordinary?
Well, she acted like this for years. At this point, it was ordinary.
We'll get into that later. We've been told you were pushing for a woman named Laurel Stallard to be hired by your wife. Did you have any relationship with her that was not professional?
Are you insinuating that I had an affair with Laurel?
Is that what happened, Charles?
What? No! I would never cheat on my wife. I can't believe you would think that.
But it's true that you and Leda had a struggling relationship.
No, why won't you people listen to me? Nothing was wrong with our marriage.
Then why was Leda filing for divorce? There must have been something.
I don't know. She never told me that she was filing for divorce. I never knew.
But is there anything you could think of that would make her file for divorce?
No.
Think harder.
There was nothing.
Mr. Stevenson, think harder.
I'm not putting up with this any longer. I am leaving.
It's fine. You can go. We'll be in touch soon enough.
Thank you. I do not want to be subjected to this defamation you are presenting to me.
We got a call. Ash Jones from StoneHaven Morgue has some insightful information for us on what happened to Leda.
Who do you want to go to the morgue?
We can't have half the force go down. I'm sending you, Abernathy, Violet, and Kane down.
Why not me? I'm a part of this investigation as well.
Like I said, we can't send half the force down. Stay here and help me with damage control.
Did Knight tell you guys anything?
Nope. We just need to head down to the morgue.
Same here. I also know we have to keep our numbers low going there. He didn't even allow Officer West to come along.
Huh, strange. Well, I'm glad we were on the same page at least.
So what do you guys think happened? Any theories?
Personally, I think it was a suicide. Whether or not it was intentional, I have no clue.
From what I've gathered from the interviews, I think it was too. Though she definitely had people in her life who aren't too distraught over her death.
What do you mean, Abernathy?
Well, Oliver Barron became CEO of Storm Intel right after she died, so he's probably pretty happy about it. And Laurel was still pretty upset with being fired, so they both probably aren't heartbroken over her sudden death.
And the evidence we found so far doesn't show another person being in the room with her at the time of her death.
So us going to the morgue is just to confirm this, and then we get to go home. Case closed.
Pretty much.
There you guys are. Come. Time to show you what I found.
You seem quite excited about this.
We believe it was a suicide. That's what it is, right?
So I've been told that's what you guys believe, but I can tell you that's not the case.
What? You're kidding. I'm so confused.
Well, guess you're wrong. Tests show that she was heavily drugged.
Was she drugged?
Did you not hear me?
Yes, I heard you. I'm just surprised. Do you know what drug?
I tested it against our database, and it doesn't match anything. This is custom made of some sort.
Great. Custom made. So we can't try to trace down the supplier.
That seems to be the case, but I don't know. I'm just a little old mortician.
What else can you tell us about her death?
Ahem! She died between 2 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. Her body was at abnormally high internal temperature, so whatever she took severely increased her heart rate and her internal temp. She became a human cooker. Too bad they're out of Hot Pockets.
What was that?
Due to the defensive wounds on her wrist, she was in some sort of altercation right before she died. Honestly, if she didn't get pushed out of the window, she would have succumbed to whatever drug she was on in just a few hours.
I'll call Knight and let him know what we found. Meet me outside when we're done.
Will do.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Knox City Murder. Stay tuned for the next episode where we dive in deeper with some of our people's lives.